If you're having trouble with understanding interest rates for your UBC real estate licensing exam, we've got you covered. This video is one of 8 videos that we'll be uploading for free to ensure you build a strong foundation for the math portion of your UBC real estate exam prep. Now, all the videos that we'll be uploading to this playlist are from our real estate licensing tutorial course over at excelrealtyacademy.com. So if you find this video helpful, but want a more personalized experience in your journey to becoming a real estate agent in BC, we put a link in the description of this video so you can compare the 3 programs that we offer, which have helped thousands of people go from overwhelmed to fully licensed real estate agents. Now, without further ado, here is the interest rates lesson. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to chapter 13 and 14, part 3. This video is about nominal interest rates. Now, before we get into the content, let's cover our disclaimers. This presentation is copyrighted by Excel Realty Academy. It is to be used only by the students who are currently enrolled in our program. You agree to not record, copy, share this presentation in part or whole, and the content of this tutorial course does not constitute any legal or professional advice. Now let's get into it. Now let's dive into the details about interest rates. First of all, interest rates are percentages. The bank lends money and they want a percentage as a profit. So interest can be called a rate of return on capital. Simply, if a bank lends $100 and they charge 10%, the bank will get their $100 back and earn a profit of $10 from interest. In this course, we describe interest rates as a rate per year, and the rate will have a compounding period. A compounding period is the amount of times the rate is divided per year. If we have a $100 loan at 10% compounded annually, the interest is charged once a year at 10%. If we have a $100 loan at 10% compounded semi-annually, the 10% is compounded twice a year. So we divide the 10% by 2 to get 5%. The 5% is charged 6 months into the year, making the debt now $105. Then, at the end of the year, the 5% is charged again, but it's charged to the balance of $105, and the debt becomes $110.25. The compounding periods that we will use are the following. Annual is once a year, semi-annual is twice a year, quarterly is 4 times a year, monthly is 12 times a year, and daily is 365 times a year. If we start doing the math on these, we see that the more the interest rate is compounded, the more in interest is paid. The more we divided the interest rate, the more the debt builds on itself. So if we have a $100 loan at 8% compounded annually, $108 is due at the end of the loan. Moving on, if we have a $100 loan at 8% compounded semi-annually, we take the 8% and divide it by 2 to make the rate semi-annual. Therefore, 6 months in, the bank charges 4% once, which becomes $104. And another 6 months after that, 4% is charged on the $104, making the balance $108.16. If we have a $100 loan at 8% compounded quarterly, we take the 8% and divide it by 4 to get the quarterly rate. So we get 2% per quarter. Now after the first quarter, the payable becomes $102. After the second quarter, another 2% on top of $102, and it becomes $104.04. And after the third quarter, another 2%, and it becomes $106.13. And for the last quarter, 2% on the previous balance, which becomes $108.25. So before we switch slides, please remember, UBC rounds up to the next higher penny, which can impact your answers. Now the steps that we just did on the previous slide are the same for monthly and daily rates. Just divide the rate by the number. The value payable for monthly compounding will be higher than quarterly, and daily will be higher than monthly. The more compounding periods there are, the higher the balance is going to be. So if we have a $100 loan at 8% compounded monthly, we take the 8% and divide it by 12 to get the monthly rate. Each month, the balance grows on top of itself, and we get a final balance of $108.30. Now, if we have a $100 loan at 8% compounded daily, we take the 8% and divide it by 365 to make the rate daily. Each day, the balance grows on top of itself, and we get a final balance of $108.34. Quick pause. These 3 golden rules are super important to helping you ace the math portion of the UBC exam. In our courses at excelrealtyacademy.com, we make sure to drill this concept a lot to ensure that our students ace it. Now back to the video. So the rates that we just showed are called nominal rates. Nominal rates are a rate per year compounded by one of these 5: annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, or daily. But sometimes the questions may not describe the rate in words, and instead they may put a letter notation, which is the letter J, with a number beside it. The J is the symbol for per year, and the number is the number of compounding periods. These are still nominal rates, they're just written in a different way. Before going into an example of the J notation, we have reached our first golden rule. We have 3 golden rules that will help you master this chapter. And the first golden rule is that we only use nominal rates to solve questions. A rate per year with a compounding period. Now these are some examples of nominal rates in the J notation, starting with 8% J1, which means 8% per annum, and it's compounded annually. J1 has a nickname which is called the effective rate. 8% J2 is compounding it semi-annually. 8% J4 is compounding it quarterly. 8% J12 is compounding it monthly. And 8% J365 is compounding it daily. So these are the different ways a nominal rate may be described. The J means per year, and the number is the number of compounding periods. So we talked about nominal rates, but there is another type of rate called the periodic rate. The periodic rate is less useful, and we have to turn the periodic rate into a nominal rate when solving any questions. If we take a nominal rate and divide it by its compounding period, we get the periodic rate. That is the rate that is applicable just for the one period. For example, 6% J12 is the nominal rate. 6% divided by 12 is 0.5%. 0.5% is what the bank charges every month, and that is the periodic rate. The periodic rate also has a symbol, and it is a lowercase I. So on this slide, we have a table with all the periodic rates. For day, it is ID. For month, it is IMO. For quarter, it is IQ. For semi-annual, it is ISA. And for annual, it is IA. For annual, the nominal rate and the periodic rate are the same. So going back to last slide's example, if 6% J12 is the nominal rate, we take the 6% and divide it by 12 to get 0.5%. 0.5% is our periodic rate, or 0.5% IMO. For the last slide, we're going to wrap up on nominal and periodic rates. On the left, we have nominal rates. The important aspects of nominal rates are the value is per year with a compounding period, sometimes shown as a J and a number. The J means per year, and the number means the number of times the rate is being compounded. It is also called nominal, per year, or per annum. Also, if the rate is described as an effective rate or an effective annual rate, it is J1. Now, what about periodic rates? Periodic rates are a rate per day, rate per month, per quarter, per semi-annum, or per year. They can be called many other things that I will start listing now. And you'll notice a trend. It can be called a daily, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or yearly rate. It can be called a rate per day, per month, per quarter, per semi-annum. And it can be called a rate per day compounding daily, rate per month compounding monthly, per quarter compounding quarterly, per semi-annum compounding semi-annually. In the shorthand version, we would see a lowercase I and a code for the period like D, MO, Q, SA, or A. And we have to multiply the periodic rates to turn them into nominal rates when solving questions. A daily periodic rate must be multiplied by 365 to become a J365 rate. Now that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next part. If you like this video, you'll love the next one in our playlist. And if you want to take your UBC real estate exam prep to the next level, make sure to click the link in the description and check out our programs. Bye for now.